Hello everyone, this is Wise Seed. I hope you are doing well and I hope that you are keeping safe with all this pandemic and things going on. Right, today we decided that we want to learn about some things from the last video. Remember, if you remember the last video, we're talking about what has gone wrong with the families and marriage. Now, we asked some important questions such as, is it worth getting married now? We asked for some statistics to know that a lot is happening when it comes to families, when it comes to marriages. Now, today, I want to lay down some fundamentals about marriage and also to understand what has happened to the families that we know and to marriages. The trend is very clear. Not many people are getting married and families are getting disintegrated. A lot is happening within families. Governments have become quite confused what to do with societal problems. The basic brick of society was the family, but we can see that things have twisted and things have changed. Now, I put down here that there are three fundamental elements that make up any healthy marriage, and it's very important that if we are going to get married, that we understand these things. From the image up, we can see that it says that the three fundamental elements that make up a healthy marriage. And on the left side is the social responsibility, or when you appropriately leave your family, your mom and dad. The second element is personal commitment. Once you leave your mom and dad and you marry, you get glued to your partner. And the third one that we're talking about is that we need to understand physical union is all about, and that is becoming one flesh. So the first point that we want to talk about is the social responsibility of marriage, or the communal responsibility of marriage. So let's get this right. When I refer to the social responsibility, I'm talking about two things here. The first one is parents have responsibility to raise their children to be positive to society. It's very important. The second one is that children also have the responsibility to learn right before leaving home. Now let me explain what I mean by this. The family is a basic unit of society, and I'm saying that a strong and stable family makes a strong society. Therefore, when two people want to come together, they are leaving their mother and father, and in fact they are breaking the family unit. Therefore, it is in the society's interest that when these couples leave, they are building equally strong unit together so that society may continue to be stable and strong. This is why marriage is a big deal, because it has impact on society. So society has so much interest in marriage. Now this is why marriages are legalized and there are witnesses as well. So it's not to be taken lightly. It involves other people, not just the couples in love, but their parents as well. So in actual fact, we are saying that you just cannot go and pick anyone from anywhere and just say that we are married. Now this must be done with serious care and with support from your family. Don't ignore the advice, because it will do you good in the future. Now, if you carelessly pick anyone from anywhere, then the next family unit that you have formed will not be strong and society will be messed up as a result. Unfortunately, innocent children and grandchildren who will come will suffer. And what do we see today? The next family unit that is being built by the next generation is not strong, and in fact is getting worse, and we can see the impact on society. Now there is so much confusion in the world. Families are constantly breaking up. Divorce is on the increase. Domestic abuse is high. Mental health is rising. Children don't know their fathers. There's pain, there's hurt, bitterness is everywhere. Governments are hopelessly confused and don't have a clue as to what to solve these problems. Okay, so let me show you the scale of this problem. Now, this is from the Office for National Statistics, ONS, in the UK. They are saying that around 90% of single parents are women. And I don't think this is a surprise to any of us. The proportion of single parents who are fathers is only 10% for over 10 years. So you can tell 90% of single parents are women, only 10% are fathers. Now, they say 44% of single parents had their children within marriage. 44% of single parents had their children within marriage. That's whether they are married in a civil partnership, separated, divorced, or surviving partners. And they say that the proportion of families, they say the proportion of families with children headed by single parents has remained around 25% for 10 years. 21% of single parents are from a black minority or ethnic background. And what they are saying also is that on the average, children who have experienced single parenthood during their childhood have poorer cognitive outcomes than those that grew up in families that remain intact. Now, people can question this, but what they are saying is that children who have experienced a single parenthood, they have issues when it comes to their minds, their reasoning and stuff. This is what they are saying. It's very important that we understand that. But what we are saying is that these things don't help children. Just marrying and remarrying and breaking up and all those things, we need to have a rethink about these things. And that's why we are saying that the most important thing that we want to do now is to break the cycle. And how do we break the cycle? You can break the cycle by what we are learning today. It's very important. If you were not in the know, that's a different thing. But now things are happening, and it's very important that you take note of these things. Now, let me speak to you parents. My first point, as I said, is that parents have responsibility to raise their children to be positive to society. It is your responsibility to spend quality time with your children. You have to teach and protect your child. It's very important. You care about what the child is learning, whether they are within your boundaries or not, and what are they spending their time with, or who are they spending their time with. It's very important. Some parents don't care about these things, but they are very important. This, by the time you realize, it will come to bite you as a parent, because some parents leave it too late and then they don't have any more control. So start now to understand that you have responsibility as a parent. Now, how much quality time do you spend with your child? Because if you don't, someone else will. And 9 out of 10, they are not positive for the child. My question again is that how do you spend your time as a parent? You yourself as a parent, how do you spend your time? Because this is a clear indication of what you value in life. And I hope that you value family. What example are you showing your children as well? Many parents are telling children what to do, and they do otherwise. That is a serious joke. You might as well not even tell them what to do, because they will do exactly what you are doing. Many fathers, many mothers will be telling their children to lie and keep lying, and you expect them to be truthful. It doesn't work like that. So understand that one of the ways that children learn is through what they observe at home. It's very important from you as a parent. And what example? So my question is, what example have you shown, or are you showing to your children? It's very important. Now, I want to speak with the fathers as well. Fathers who have left home and left their children, I ask you to reconnect with your children. You need to understand your role as a father. Reconnect with your children, because you are harming them. You are causing them more harm than good for not being there. The reason why men can be that jealous and all that is because one of the reasons is to be able to protect our children. So if you are not there, somebody out there is coming to just mess up with your family. It's not helpful. So please go back. Please connect, reconnect, find a way to get close to your children. I cannot overemphasize this. Very important that as a father, you reconnect with your children. Very important. Now, to the mothers who have also become a gateway to their children, I say to you that consider that fathers do matter to their children. Don't become a lioness and say no when the father wants access to the children. If he's not positive, that's a different thing. If he is, and out of anger, you are doing that, I want to encourage you, find a better way to deal with it so that the children can reconnect with their father. It's very important. Yeah? You have social responsibility as a parent to raise your children well so that they can become positive in society. You can't be happy that your child is leaving home because your problems are over. You should care about whether the next family unit will be better or worse. You must care whether your grandchildren are going to be better or worse. If you don't care, then it's really sad. It's really sad. Don't talk about saving the planet when you care less about family. It's a joke. And I'm saying that it is time to rethink about our social responsibilities as parents. So when we talk about leaving home, we are not just saying that just drag them out. When the Bible says that a man shall leave his father and his mother and shall cleave to the wife and they shall become one. We are not saying just throw them out for them to just leave, but you have a responsibility. I want to say this to mothers and fathers, that this is a lifetime responsibility placed on you as a parent to make sure that you teach your children right. It's not the 1 month or 2 months before the marriage or 6 months before the marriage that you start preparing. It is a lifetime thing. From day one, you know that my son, my daughter needs to be positive to society, and you start raising them with that mentality. Please understand that this is your responsibility. It is not the church's responsibility to even teach. It is not the counselor's responsibility to teach. It is your responsibility. It's about time that we get this right and start now. Start now. Thank you. Now, let's talk about social responsibility on the child to learn right before they leave home. So the Bible says that you will leave your mother and your father. Now, I'm saying that the first responsibility is on the parents. The second responsibility is on you as a child, that you have responsibility to learn right before you leave home. You should know what to teach the next generation so that society will continue to be strong and healthy. But unfortunately, young people frown upon this kind of responsibility. They live life in the fast lane and have no time to think about others. It's all about me, myself, and I. They easily enter into relationships and care less about commitment or getting to know the other person's family. They form relationships easily and break up easily. Parents are not allowed to protect them because everything is done in the dark. And it is very important that you understand that these things can come back to bite you. And that's why we are saying that you have responsibility to learn right before you leave home. Your parents are there to protect you. So you have the responsibility that I need to learn it right so that I can equally build a family that is either better than even your parents' one, or at least the same. Now, unfortunately, they leave their mother and father. They break the family units and care less about building equally strong family units. Children are born and these parents don't know how to raise them. Or one parent will leave home, usually the father, over the slightest misunderstanding. So they're continuing to break homes and nothing to replace it. Children are born hurt and bitter, some with no access to one of the parents. And the mother or father are bitter against each other and things are getting messy. Truly, this affects the whole society. And that's why God says that I hate divorce. But that is what is happening because we didn't get it right initially. And I'm saying that for God's sake, understand that parents are there to support you. They are not against you. So please don't think that it is about you and it's about your spouse. Understand that other people are in the relationship and it is important that you learn from them. You may be clever than your parents when it comes to technology, but that does not necessarily mean that you are wise. It is wisdom that will stand the test of time, not cleverness. I repeat that you may be smarter, you may be clever, you may know the internet more than your parents, and therefore you can fool them, but that does not mean that you are wise, because wisdom is what will stand, not cleverness. And despite all the advancement today, the world is at war with itself and things are getting worse, things are getting messier, which is not helpful. So I implore you that please learn right before you leave home. Don't just rush just because you just want to get out of the home and more because my parents are they disturb me too much. I mean, I don't want any more disturbance. I'm just going. It is not just about leaving. It is about leaving home right. So put your smartness and the cleverness away and desire wisdom for living. You just cannot continue to ignore advice and keep hurting innocent children, yourself, and others. I believe that many people will have saved their mental health if they had listened to their parents. So you have the responsibility to learn right before you leave home. Somebody is saying that, how about if I can't learn from my parents because my parents mess themselves up and there's nothing to learn from them? I hope there's something that you can learn from them. Many parents realize their mistakes, and if they can be honest with you, they will tell you some of the mistakes they make and you can learn from that mistake. But if you feel that your parents are not the right people that you can learn from, I want to encourage you that find someone who has married for years and who has understanding and learn from that person. I give you this caution: don't just go to anybody, even if they call themselves counselors or psychologists or whatever name they give themselves. If they have divorced and keep remarrying and divorcing and keep remarrying, I can tell you that they haven't learned the lesson yet. Just don't be fooled by the title, because marriage is deeper than textbook knowledge. So this is the final thing about the social responsibility or leaving home. There are 3 elements, and the first one is the social responsibility. I encourage you to go to the next week. That's the second bit, which we will talk about. Thank you very much for listening. This is just the first element out of the 3, and I hope that this video has been a blessing to you. Please share and subscribe. Thank you very much.